This review is of the movie 65, starring Adam Driver, um, and from the writers of A Quiet Place. Now, my son chose this movie. I wasn't particularly thrilled with the idea of what they were doing in this movie, but son thought it would be good, and we both discovered no, it's not. This movie only has four people in the entire cast, and two of them are in the majority. Well, three of them are in the majority of the movie. Adam Driver's character's wife is at the very beginning. His daughter is frequently in the movie, in a way. And then the other person is the little girl whose name I forgot. Doesn't. Let's see. Ah. Oh well. And so apparently the two writers had always wanted to do a dinosaur movie, and so they hit upon this idea of aliens who look exactly like us coming to Earth 65 million years ago and having to struggle to survive on this planet. My very first criticism of this movie was the fact that they didn't do anything to try to modify the natural environments of the movie to simulate what it would have looked like 65 million years ago. They just went into some pine forest or something like that and used that environment. They didn't have giant bugs. They didn't have anything special in here. Well, they did have a giant bug, but mostly they didn't have anything special in this movie other than the dinosaurs and the prop spaceships. And honestly, this movie relies heavily on coincidences in order to move forward. The first coincidence being that they've got this massive ship being piloted by this character, and yet it doesn't have the ability to detect an asteroid field before entering it, nor does it have the ability to alert the pilot, the only person awake on the ship, in order to get him to take control of the ship to get through the asteroid belt. Nevertheless, one of my common complaints with science fiction is it's always assumed that a human will be better at piloting anything than a computer. But if you're talking about in the future, like this movie is, well, in advanced technology, there's no reason why they would need the pilot to take over for the computer, because unless the computer was damaged to the point that it couldn't operate or make decisions correctly, there's no reason to get the pilot in there just because you're being banged about because you were stupid enough to go into an asteroid field. So that, the movie pivots on the fact that the computer is too stupid to to avoid an asteroid field and too stupid to navigate through it sensibly, and somehow it expects that the pilot's going to do better. Yeah. And it just coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, and then there's the giant asteroid. And while I thought that the acting was okay, I really didn't feel like Adam was really in his role most of the time. I just kind of felt like he was in the movie, but not really feeling the role that he was playing. And it was an important role, and not just because he was the protagonist, but also because of the situation in the story where he has lost his daughter, and he has found this 9-year-old girl who needs to be saved, and they're in a very hostile environment. And it's just one thing after another, after another, after another, and it's irritating. It's very irritating. My son got very irritated with this movie. I was like half an hour into the movie, and I was already very irritated, and then they mentioned the asteroid. Well, they hinted at it, and I was like, no, please don't let it be that. Please don't let it be that. And sure enough, it was that. And then, of course, again, from start to finish, we're talking about has to be coincidences. And it's just, oh, it's so irritating. I hate movies that rely on coincidences that are not very plausible. And this is just one of that's full of them. And that's bad writing in my mind. You know, I have experienced coincidences one after another, but the way Hollywood just kind of abuses them is just ridiculous. So I'm going to give this movie a 4. 4 because the inadequacy of Mr. Driver's acting. 4 because aside from the costume and one or two dinosaur skeletons and the dinosaurs and the one bug that they've got in the movie, they made no effort to make it look like it was 65 million years ago on Earth, and so on. It's just too much rubbish. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.